Today, I have a surprise for you guys. I am here to interview the only published writer on our campus, Kevin. However, he is not only a published writer, but is also talented in many other artistic ways. We might call him a modern-day Renaissance man. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
I've heard that you are the only published writer on our campus at Avalon. Then what kind of writing do you like?
Well, I like all kinds of writing. I've recently been writing a lot of travel writing, cultural writing, especially the differences between Korea and America, certain artistic differences as well.
Then can you tell me the reason why you like writing?
I primarily enjoy writing to explore ideas. And also, there's something beautiful in coming up with elegant ways of expressing those ideas.
Then how come you've decided to be a published writer?
Well, that sort of goes with the territory. Most writers aspire to publication. That began, my first publication was in college. I wrote for the school newspaper, but that was primarily political type writings, commentaries and things. My first creative publication also came in college, but that was with poetry. And I was studying under a well-known poet, Bob Hickok, at Virginia Tech. And he took a liking to my poetry and he encouraged me to keep writing, and eventually I was able to publish 3 poems with Orson Scott Card, who's actually a science fiction writer, but he has an online poetry magazine, and he bought 3 of my poems and published them there.
Now, are there any important events or person that made you write?
Yes, in fact, that goes way back to my childhood. My father was a writer. He wrote scripts. He was also an actor, but he had a typewriter, and I used to like to play on the typewriter and try to write my own stories. The very first story I wrote that I actually completed was an assignment for school where the teacher gave us a photograph. We had to come up with a story to explain the photograph. In my case, I got a picture of an elephant trying to get on a bus, a city bus, and there was somebody behind him trying to push him onto the bus, and I invented the character Hula the elephant, and he wanted to go to the city and see the city, but he lived way out in the jungle, so he had to ride a bus to get there.
How can you become an actual published writer?
That takes time, certainly a little bit of luck along the way. Really, you should first have something you want to say. If you don't have anything to say, your writing will reflect that and it won't get published. But if you have something to say about anything, write it down, write it out, explore it, rewrite it again, and eventually you will get published.
Then if you want to write good stories, what is the best thing to do?
The best thing to do is to read good stories. It's very difficult to teach good writing. What most people do is they demonstrate what bad writing is. It's very easy to see bad writing, to talk about bad writing, to demonstrate, show bad writing. But it's hard to put your finger on exactly what makes a good anything well written. So it's important to read everything, and eventually you'll start to discern what is good and what is bad.
Well, then what is your favorite book you read?
Well, one of my favorites is Moby Dick by Herman Melville. And many people don't like it for reasons, different reasons, but I was a former sailor, and I'd been at sea, traveled around, and knew what it was like to be on the ocean, heavy seas, running from hurricanes and things like that. And when I read the first page of Moby Dick, Herman Melville had captured the essence of what it was like to be a sailor professionally.
I've heard that you are a great drawer too. Can you tell me when you discovered this talent?
I actually discovered that talent before writing. My mother was the artist in the family. She was a makeup artist, and so there was always artistic materials in the house, so I picked up a piece of paper and just drew what I saw. I was a fan at the time of the Garfield comic strip, and so I always wanted to draw Garfield, and I always tried drawing Garfield, but I really didn't know how. Until one day, my dad bought me a collection of Garfield comics, and at the beginning of it, the very first page, was a short lesson on how to draw Garfield. And that was my first education, artistic education there. And from there, I kept drawing, and drew a picture of all the characters in Garfield, and I ended up sending that picture to Jim Davis, the creator of the comic book strip, and eventually he sent me back a handwritten letter thanking me for the artwork and encouraging me to keep drawing.
Then how have you used your talents as an artist here at Avalon?
Well, most directly, I have drawn pictures of famous characters such as Superman, Batman, things like that, using the whiteboard markers. Whenever, as a treat for the kids, whenever they finish their assignments or near the end of the semester, when we've gone through all the work and might be some extra time, I'll ask them who their favorite character is, and I'll draw one on the board for them.
Well, is this one of the drawings you drew?
Yeah, that was one of the first ones that Superman, since everyone knows who Superman was, I did that one. And from there, they started asking me to draw specific characters.
That's very interesting. Then are there any other artistic talents that you have?
Well, I'm also a musician because my father was a drummer, so I ended up playing drums and other percussion. From there, I also started composing music for my own benefit primarily, but I ended up going to a recording arts school and learning about audio production, and I ended up working with a famous rock star for a little while, and I've traveled around recording other musicians and concerts and things like that.
Good. Then I've heard that you're called the Renaissance Man. What does it mean to be a modern day Renaissance man?
Well, the traditional meaning of it was someone who had studied and mastered several or many different subjects relating to the arts and engineering, the sciences and whatnot. The original name was L'Uomo Universale, the Italian, meaning the universal man, that he could universally do many things. But in modern day, it's, as far as what I use it for or find any real merit in, is in its application for teaching. That studying many subjects and being able to apply that in a classroom makes the subjects that I do teach much more vivid and much more accessible to the students.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for all of your fascinating information you gave us. Until next time, it was Agnes from Violet Kids.